We're here at a very challenging trail in the Colorado Rockies. 9,000 pounds of Hummer are on a rock right now.
That's what happens when you go off-road. You get a little bit of curb rash. We were expecting it, but you know, it's a wheel, it's a tire, it's an off-roader. This is what happens.
Keep it going, keep it moving, keep it moving. This switch is just not engaging the front locker. So we'll see what happens. Can't stop it, can't stop it. A lot of weight, a lot of weight, a lot of weight.
When I was talking to the chief engineer of this, the brand new Hummer EV, he said that GM had given them a simple mission, and that was to build not the best electric off-roader, but the best off-roader, period. So today, we're going to test that. And how are we going to do that, Tommy?
Well, we're here at a very challenging trail in the Colorado Rockies. We've got large rocks. We're going to test the skid plates, the traction aids, the articulation, the approach angle, that kind of thing. But we're not only going to run this Hummer up the trail called Red Cone, we're also going to run the Ford Bronco up alongside, because the Ford Bronco is without a doubt one of the best new off-roaders you could buy, period. So let's see if Hummer's topped it. The new Hummer has these off-road pages, and one of the cool features is if we click this little tire, there's an air down mode, and you can see the recommended PSI is 45. Now, I don't want to go super low. Typically, I'd run like 15 or maybe 17 on this trail, but with a truck that weighs 9,000 pounds, I'm not really sure how it will respond to a lower tire pressure. So we're going to go down to about 25, and then when the air down is complete, the truck will actually honk the horn, letting you know you set the desired pressure.
And in case you're wondering, we also aired down the Bronco to keep it fair. We are running Red Cone today, and if you're wondering where that's at, you can just go over to Onyx Off-Road, grab yourself the app, download the map, and then even if you don't have cell service, you'll have the map and you'll know exactly where it is, and more importantly, how difficult it is, because it is difficult. All right, Tommy, I've put this in GOAT mode, goes over any terrain. Actually, I put it in rock crawl mode. I'm in low range, and I've got something that you don't have, which is a disconnectable sway bar.
Yeah, I don't have one of those, but I do have some insanely cool off-road tech. Now, the design of these vehicles is fundamentally different. So the Bronco, body on frame, solid rear axle, coil sprung. The Hummer has independent suspension on all four corners and air suspension, so I can actually change the ride height. And I may not have a disconnectable front sway bar, but I do have a four-wheel steer system with a crab mode. I have underbody cameras, which I'm using right now, both forward and back. I've got locking diffs. This is going to be a great comparison today.
Yeah, you also have we just weighed it, 9,400 and some pounds of weight, which is crazy. Now let's face it, Tommy, most people who buy a Hummer EV are not going to do this. So I think our challenge today is very straightforward. One, is it any good off-road? And two, is it better than a Bronco?
Well, immediately, one concern I have is the sheer width of the Hummer. So this vehicle is heavy-duty truck wide, and of course it has the marker lights. So I'm a little worried about the width and kind of what that means in terms of the angles I can take. Now, the four-wheel steering right off the bat is helping me a ton maneuver around some of these turns, but at some point, it's not going to help me get through the trees.
Tell them what happened last time we went up this.
Last time we were up it, we popped two tires, off-road tires, mind you, in a Land Rover Defender. And then when I was recovering the Defender, I watched a fully built out brand new Tacoma take out his entire bedside. And yeah, it's just very tough. Now I gotta ask, are you slipping tires at all so far?
Not at all, how about you?
Yeah, surprisingly I am. I'm slipping a lot of tires.
This video on the Hummer EV was made possible by our friends at Magna International. Magna's engineers and manufacturing actually contributed to the development of an essential part of the Hummer, the battery enclosure. It's critical to the structure and safety of the vehicle and protects high voltage batteries from water and damage. Magna worked with GM's engineers to produce two versions of the recyclable steel battery case, a 393-pound version for the short wheelbase and a 454-pound long wheelbase version. The Hummer EV is the first GM truck vehicle in production using GM's all-new Ultium battery architecture, which Magna worked closely on with GM's engineering teams to optimize for the best performance. Learn more about the role Magna plays in developing and building some of the most advanced automotive and truck technology in the world by clicking on the link to Magna's YouTube channel in the description below.
All right, really gonna have to thread the needle here in the Hummer EV.
You're good. Come on up. You have more room than you think on your passenger side. You watch that rock on your driver's side. You got probably a good half a foot on your passenger side right now. You can go closer. Okay.
This is really hard.
Plenty of room. You can make this. No problem. Keep coming. Keep coming. Keep coming. Keep coming. Another foot or two. One more foot. Right now, start turning left. There you go. Oh, look at that rear wheel steering.
Now this is tricky though, because with the rear wheel steering, you actually have the rear end start to swing around on you, which you gotta be careful about. It's an issue you don't think about typically, but you have actually rear end swing.
Keep coming to your passenger side, passenger. There you go, perfect. Nice, you went right around it. Keep coming, passenger. You got a rock on your... There you go. Straight ahead.
All right, come on, Hummer. Does make a tight turn with that rear wheel steering. That is pretty cool.
Now under the hood of the Bronco is a 2.7 liter V6 that puts out over 300 horsepower. But under the hood of the Hummer is of course a frunk. And that's because it's electric. And get this, it powers all four wheels via 3 electric motors and puts out about 1,000 horsepower. Now that is crazy. Hey George. So show them what you got. Look at this.
Yeah.
How cool is that?
I'm a fan.
So if we don't destroy the Hummer EV, we're going to take it up the Ike tomorrow.
I saw that. You're so lucky, man. That's awesome. I saw it crabbing and doing all that stuff.
Yeah. So, you know, it's GM's truck, but that makes me even more nervous.
That is so cool.
So this is the gatekeeper right here. You've got a rock that you can hit over there. You got a rock that you can hit here. So the trick is you got to stay basically on top of these 2 rocks, and then this rock will create a breakover issue, because if you don't get it right, you're going to teeter-totter on the top of it. So I'm going to do the Bronco first, and hopefully I can get over the gatekeeper, and then I think Tommy might want to put in extract mode, get that thing as high as possible, because he's got a much longer wheelbase, but I should be okay.
A little more passenger, a little more passenger. More passenger.
That's what skid plates are for.
All right, so for the gatekeeper, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go into the extract off-road height. That's gonna give me the most possible ground clearance. It says leveling system unavailable. That's not good. Why is it not doing that? The other issue too I have is that, so you see this switch here for the front locker? It's like not engaging. It's like all wobbly. So we'll see what happens.
Perfect. All right. Passenger, please.
So the rear locker on this truck, it's got 2 electric motors. The way it works is it tries to lock the rear wheels together.
Perfect.
Come on, Hummer.
There you go. You're on top of the rock. Okay. Keep coming. Bring up the momentum now. Passenger. You go. You're probably going high center now.
Come on, Hummer. On the battery. That's the battery.
Give it a little momentum. Bring it over.
9,000 pounds of Hummer are on a rock right now.
Try turning on the front locker.
I'm trying, I'm pushing the button. Look, it's all hosed up. It's like these buttons, like they are falling apart. Ride height, extract, vehicle too high, drive with caution. Oh, is it going up? I hear the suspension doing something. Should we try it?
Yeah, try it. Yeah, let me try a rock here, hold on. Okay, try it now. You want me just to tell you over?
That's full throttle.
Yeah. Alright, let me just pull you over, okay?
You want to get the strap?
Yeah, I'll get the strap.
Alright, I got this. Alright, Dad, nice and slow, please. Dad, stop, 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 stop. That's a terrible sound. It's not going to do it. Please back up. Let's see if we can stack some rocks and get it through a different way.
Steer. It's like 12 degrees. Can you turn towards the hillside? What a genius! Look at you! I spot rear steer buggies, so it's not a big deal. Bound up on this rock.
What do you think if I give him a yank now?
There you go.
All right, well, you know, that's what happens when you go off-road. You get a little bit of curb rash. We were expecting it, but you know, it's a wheel, it's a tire, it's an off-roader. This is what happens. Sorry, GMC, but we got to test this bad boy, and it made it over the gatekeeper.
Both of these vehicles are running a 35-inch tall tire, and they are both Goodyears. However, they are a slightly different model. So the Hummer's rolling on a set of Goodyear Wranglers. This is a very tried and true tire in a 305/70 R18, and then the Ford Bronco is running a Goodyear Territory MT. It's a little larger, actually, a 315/70 R17. So slightly smaller wheel, slightly larger tire.
Week and look at these trees. They're just, colors here are incredible. This is when Colorado is at its most spectacular, when the aspens turned a shimmering golden.
That was very, very deep of you there. I'm having some frustration with the suspension on this vehicle. So like, I'll change the ride height and then it'll lock me out. So right now I'm in normal. I want to get out, I want to go to increased, and then on the screen it says leveling system unavailable. Oh my god, it just is like any kind of loose rocks, and it's just so heavy it won't go up. And the air suspension won't go up. Just work! Please, for the love of baby Jesus, just give me increased ride height. This is unacceptable. Leveling system unavailable. Why? Why? Why are you unavailable? Service axle lockers. Now we have no lockers. Oh, it just came back.
Okay.
I got one locker.
You can't make it up without lockers. All right, so obviously, Tommy, 9,000 plus pounds going up a mountain is not easy.
Yeah.
Especially when you've got 13 Jeeps behind you.
Thank you guys, appreciate it.
Thanks. Luckily they're fans of ours and they're not too bothered by the fact that we're filming and slowing them down. But look, I think there is a different approach to off-roading here. I think you got to use a little bit of momentum. If you try to go the typical rock crawl way, all that weight is just going to push you back and it's going to really struggle.
But the challenge is the vehicle is so wide that if you use a lot of momentum, you kind of lose control as to where you're positioned on the trail. And then the other thing that the Hummer really struggles at is loose shale. So we've had some of these kind of loose rocks. The second you even slow to like 1 or 2 miles an hour, it just starts to dig holes.
Yeah, I'm hearing it. It's like kicking up the rocks, and that's air down.
Now I will say, four-wheel steering is incredible. It works really well. It makes this vehicle a lot more off-road capable in these tight situations. The ground clearance is pretty good, and the rear locker, even though it's electronic, is working very well. So it almost feels like the issue with the front locker is that the button broke. You can see it's not returning back up, and it doesn't feel like it's actually doing anything. Like this button, right, clicks the hazards on. This one for parking sensors works, but like that one seems to be not working. So I've been noticing some glitches. So currently we are in increased height on the ground clearance. You can see it in the cluster there, but the actual main screen disagrees. It says we're normal, but I believe we're an increase based on the ground clearance, the look of it. Thinking if I stay to the left, I'll have a better odds of it. Oh, hard on the skid plate. Climb, good. It's very hard to kind of do smooth power deliveries from a stop in the Hummer, but we're making it work. That's good. Thank you, Dad. All right, good work, Hummer. That was actually pretty good. So once again, just keep a little bit of speed, a little bit of power, and you can get places that you wouldn't expect you would be able to get. On the front skid there, this is see, that's full throttle and it just kind of gets stuck. So you gotta bump it, which is hard to do smoothly in the Hummer. There we go. Almost would be good if it had like a low range.
It's a difficult course when even side-by-sides with like 20 inches plus of suspension travel are working hard. You're doing a good job, Tommy. I was surprised. It hit the front dash plate, but that's what it's for.
Yeah, it's that was pretty good.
Yeah,
it's good.
Let's keep going.
Keep going.
Yeah.
The more I drive the Hummer, the more I'm kind of getting used to it, and the more I like it. It is not what I would consider an easy vehicle to drive off-road, but once you kind of figure out some of its mannerisms, it is a very capable machine. One of the cool things I like about it is that in terrain mode, with just a small amount of steering input, you get a lot of rear wheel movement, and that means that even to make tight turns, you're not constantly sawing at the wheel. Like half turns are plenty to kind of get you through where you need to go. I'm starting to enjoy it more. You figure out that once you keep your foot into it, you just cannot let it stop on difficult obstacles. You will get where you need to go, just with a little bit of additional patience. See, this is a case where I definitely need the front camera. The other thing too is that this vehicle has a super low center of gravity, so side slopes do not feel scary at all because it just feels extremely planted. Got a dead GoPro.
Hummer 1, GoPro 0.
9,000 pounds of Hummer.
Does that to a GoPro.
Yikes. Save the chip.
Oh no.
All right, well, GoPro died.
No, you killed it. So the Bronco also has a trick up its sleeve. It's this turn assist feature where it basically allows you to drag a wheel. Let me demonstrate it by going around this turn.
My dad made this turn using his trail turn assist that locks the inside tire. Let's see if the Hummer can do it with the four-wheel steering. I think it can. That's pretty cool. Look at that. That's awesome. Got my rear locker on. We are at a 24-degree side slope. I'm just going to use a little bit of momentum to kind of get us through this part. I just add a little bit of momentum to try to get us through this part. Oh! Oh! I stopped because I freaked out. Now I'm stuck. There we go. Look at that. Beautiful. Took a little bit of a bump. Now, typically, you would be able to get through that with the low range and the locker, but that was really hard on the accelerator, and I couldn't quite squeeze through there.
Well, I can tell you that the rear wheel steering is much more sophisticated and much better than the dragging the wheel.
Yeah, the trail turn assist.
The trail turn assist is like a Band-Aid.
Yeah, sure.
This is like
a scalpel.
Scalpel, yeah, exactly. All right, let's go all the way to the top now, guys.
Alright, here we go through the rock garden. Rear locker on. I think as long as I keep a little bit of speed through here, just a little bit to kind of pitch the tires on top of these boulders, I should be able to make it. So I'm gonna do exactly that. It feels so unnatural. 9,000 pounds. Come on, come on. Keep it going. Keep it moving. Keep it moving. Keep it moving. Hit it, but that's okay. Here, the side of the mountain starts to give away there. That was great. That was really good. That's the key. That's the key. That's the key. Just gotta keep the movement up. All right, really, really good.
Another great thing about the Hummer is it's so quiet. I'm really enjoying just, you know, when the side-by-sides come along, it really punctuates the quietness of the Hummer.
That is actually really cool. I really enjoy having just the sound of the rocks under the tires, and I hear a lot of squeaking of kind of the sidewall on the these dirt tracks when it rubs against these larger boulders, and you know that really freaks me out. But I'm wondering if that squeaking's always there. You just can't hear it as well under the sound of an engine. So yeah, the Hummer is really cool, just being completely silent. What?
We're about to pop out a tree line.
Wahoo! We're finally getting into Hummer territory here, which is awesome. So we can now finally kind of breathe a little bit.
Well, actually, we're almost at 12,000 feet above sea level, so maybe you can finally breathe a little bit, at least not easily.
The funny thing is that an internal combustion powered vehicle would be down like 30% on power, but not an EV. Actually, it'll get quicker because there's less air density up here, so less air to push out of the way, which is pretty funny to think about, huh?
Yeah, so if you look ahead, we've got a little bit more of a climb, but now the really interesting part starts because we can get and go climb the top of Red Cone, which is, you know, way cool. So I think it's drone time, Tommy.
Let's do it. So I've got crab mode on just to try it. In crab mode, the wheels front and rear steer in the same direction. It's supposed to help you kind of maneuver sideways, which I'm doing right now. There you go. You can kind of position it right on the trail. And then, of course, if you steer the wheel enough, you'll actually overrun the rear wheels and you can kind of point the vehicle where you need it to go. But yeah, that's crab mode turned on. Is it useful? I could see potentials where you need to rotate the rear end of the vehicle to make it useful. Is it a game changer? Probably not. Like here, I actually don't need crab mode. I need the wheels to do what I want them to do. But it is pretty fun to experience. It's a really unusual sensation in crab mode. So for example, here, I should be able to make this turn with still having the front end of the vehicle pointed uphill. And indeed, that is what is happening exactly. So the front of the vehicle is pointed uphill, but I'm steering using this kind of weird sideways sensation. And that was enough rear steer to get me pointed back through this portion of the trail. Now I need a little bit more forward steering, so I'm going to crank the wheel over on the rear just a little bit in crab mode up the side of this mountain. That's pretty cool. Here, I'm going to crab mode past the Bronco, so let me kind of come around here. Don't want to hit these really pointy rocks. And just like that, look at that. It's pretty funky, huh? Now, if you do this in the wrong spot, you'll crab mode the rear end into a tree or into a car or into a rock. So I probably wouldn't recommend it all the time, but I can see the use of it. I was really a skeptic before. But if you want a fine position of that rear end, crab mode is going to be the way to do it.
All right, Tommy, so let's kind of go through what we've learned so far. First and foremost, it's heavy.
Yeah, Hummer's a heavy gal, and you really feel it on these Colorado Rocky Mountain trails, just trying to pull you down when you're trying to drive up.
I think the biggest thing we learned is that rear wheel steering is a complete game changer. I'm watching you go up this mountain. It's like a billy goat. You're just picking your way through with this enormous heavy-duty wide truck like it's a side-by-side.
It's a very special experience. Absolutely, it works fantastic. The other thing I will say is that I figured out driving an L instead of D on the transmission selector seems to give you a little bit more control. And the clearance is really quite good. I love that the underside is completely shielded. I mean, we had all 9,000 pounds of this truck at one point, or actually several points on pointy rocks in a small location on the skid, and it held up. No battery fires, nothing of that nature.
Yeah, I'm watching your independent suspension also work. It's pretty amazing, Tommy.
Yeah, I have to say the ride is good. The ride has been really good. Now, the biggest disappointment is some of the software. So going in between suspension heights, it really doesn't seem to want to do it. And then we have that issue with that front axle locker. It kicked on for like 30 seconds when I slammed the underside into a big rock, and then it immediately kicked off again and said service axle locker. So I think something's going on there. And the rear axle locker has been on the whole time when I need it, at least. And it's not as effective as a mechanical locker. Having those two motors working together with software isn't quite as good as an actual locker.
Yeah, I think those dash switches are just problematic, because we also have a broken heated steering wheel switch, so no one was pounding on that. I think it's just maybe a manufacturing defect.
Yeah, the truck has 1,000 miles on it. Keep in mind, this is VIN number 67, so it may not be up to final production standards, but yeah, you're 100% right. And my favorite part is doing this all in electric. Just the quietness, right? The sereneness is very, very satisfying. When we get to the top of the cone, we'll tell you how much range we have remaining and what percentage of battery we're at.
And Tommy, I have to just mention this. The Bronco is just incredible. I mean, it makes very difficult trail easy. I'm just so impressed by how easy it is to lock and unlock diffs, how much ground clearance I have, just how off-road capable this is. Really out of the box for Ford. And I know this is the third version of it, but let's face it, it's been a while since the Bronco 2 and the big OJ Bronco. This is pretty amazing first time out for Ford.
Yeah, Ford killed it. They just nailed it. I have to say, as impressive as the Hummer is, being 0 to 60 in 3.5 seconds and being able to do this kind of thing, the Bronco is much happier out on the trail. It feels much lighter on its feet. The axle engagement's better. The maneuverability's better. It's just a more thoroughbred trail machine.
So we've answered one of the two questions, which is the Bronco better off-road? The answer is a definitive yes. But the second question that we have to answer, and we'll do it at the top of the mountain, is, is the Hummer EV any good off-road? So let's drive to the top and then we'll answer that question.
Alright, cool, so check this out. So I reset at the base of the trail. We went 6.2 miles. We averaged 0.8 miles per kilowatt hour. Let's see what state of charge we're at. 49%. So we used 22% to go 6 miles.
About.
Straight uphill though, straight uphill.
So the last question we have to answer, Tommy, how good or not good is the Hummer EV off-road?
It's very good. Once you kind of figure out the hang of driving it, figure out how to manage its weight, it will go places that nothing that weighs 9,400 pounds should ever go. And a big shout out to these Goodyear Wrangler Duratrack tires who just get pounded within an inch of its life every single mile of every trail.
Yeah, and thank you to GM for loaning us this truck. We did put it in harm's way. I think, the worst thing that happened was we got a little bit of road rash on the wheel and we ran over GoPro.
Some would say rock rash.
Okay, rock rash. There are worse things. So guys, thank you for joining us. Thank you for driving. I was too nervous to drive a $112,000 truck, so, much kudos to you, my man.
Whoa, we're not done. We made 3,000 feet vertical in 6 miles, but now we've got the descent down Red Cone, and that's where I'm gonna have to go clench my butt cheeks. Check this out. All right, now this is the part I'm unbelievably nervous about. This is gonna be really scary. So we've got this descent that's gonna be like 30 degrees straight down, and to get it wrong, you're gonna go off the edge of a mountain. It's just the only way to describe it. So I'm gonna go make sure we're in trail mode. I'm actually gonna go into normal height on the suspension just to lower the center of gravity a little bit. And then I'm gonna go into low on the shifter and just turn rear steering off actually. I don't want that tight of a turning circle. And we'll see how 9,400 pounds feels going down this loose pitch. So we're at 13%. I'm not touching the brake at all though. I'm letting the vehicle regen power back into the battery. We'll see it when we get to the bottom of this too, if we actually get any electricity back into the battery. 15% now, but this is where the loose shale starts. This is where I'm gonna start feeling a little bit nervous. 20 degrees. 21! Regenerating. Whoa, way too much speed. It just let go there for a sec. That was scary. Right to that. That was weird. We're regenerating about 12 kilowatts at a rate of 12 kilowatts from the battery. 14, 16, 18, 20, 21 kilowatts, 24. It's letting go, it's speeding up. I'm on the brakes. Getting on the brakes. That was 25 degrees. Can't stop it. Lot of weight. All right. 38, 41 kilowatts. So we did get some electricity gain there, which is pretty cool. All right, now we got a brief climb going up this little hill. This is one I'm really glad I aired down. Really glad. All right, final descent. Can't see anything out the front of the vehicle. Here we've got this little pitch and roll meter. I don't know why it's saying tilt in like that orange bit, but let's see what we actually hit on the descent here. 10 degrees pitch. So you can see as we decelerate, that red number is acceleration, it'll turn to green. Let's see what the pitch and tilt is. 15 degrees. You can see 1 kilowatt back into the battery. That was taking me a little too fast. We got 2. Try going into L here. Oh, that brought me to a complete stop. Pretty steep. 23. Holy moly, and it's loose shale. You can hear the shale just grinding underneath the tires as the vehicle struggles for traction. There's 19. ABS active, the truck says, got a slide going. Oh, I can't stop it. That's hard on the brakes and it's still going, so I'm letting off. Let's just roll it out until the bottom. Got some speed going. Putting some electricity back into the battery. And just like that, we were able to stop the vehicle. Woo! So we started at the top of the hill with 49% state of charge. Let's see where we're at here. 49. So we really didn't gain much going down that steep hill.
So in case you're wondering what kind of fuel economy the Bronco got going up Red Cone, 4.8. So it's not just electric vehicles that use a lot of energy going straight up a mountain. Hey Tommy, guess what my fuel economy was going up Red Cone? Close, 4.8.
There you go. So this thing was pretty inefficient, but so was the Bronco. And the cool thing is, too, let's see how far we've got in total. So we still have like 47% remaining. And if I go into the trip computer, we have gone 94.8 miles. So we have plenty of power to get back to Boulder in the Denver area because it's all downhill to the mountains. No concerns.
Yeah, so it's really usable if you want to go to Moab, or if you actually want to go and, you know, I don't know how much farther off-road I'd want to go than that on a typical Sunday or Saturday afternoon.
Well, it depends on the type of off-roading you're doing. If you're doing rock crawling, then you're probably not going to go very far. If you're looking overland for 300 miles across the desert, this is probably not the choice.
So Land Rover says you got to go as slow as possible, as fast as necessary. I think with the Hummer you have to go as slow as possible, but necessarily fast. See what I did there?
Or you could say as slow as possible, but fast is necessary.
Okay, you could say that too.